Hello guys, today I'm going to make some reaction video on some video essay created by a YouTuber called Moon who likes to put videos in YouTube that are somehow depressing. Today it is about the Apple Vision Pro, and right now I'm in a hotel room at 3:49 in the morning. Outside they are doing some stupid party. So that's that.
Trust me when I say that the Vision Pro is way darker than you can possibly imagine, but not for the reasons that you might think. The product itself is genius. The release of Apple's Vision Pro marks an inflection point for virtual and augmented reality, because Apple's Vision Pro has been described by all of those who've tried it as feeling like literal magic.
Yeah, so they are going to explain how a bunch of YouTubers are pretty much liking that product, which is understandable since it's a high quality product. It's a product that delivers you a lot of visual sensation, of course, because of this high resolution displays right in front of your eyes. Yeah, so that's cool, but also as of now pretty expensive. So for me, at least, no option. Yeah, I'm not going to buy it as of now, but let's see.
Every big influencer and media personality is licking their lips at the prospect of the Vision Pro, because on the surface, it does seem perfect. Anyone anywhere can live inside their own digital universe mixed with their current reality.
Yeah, of course, digital universe mixed with current reality. Do you mean being online?
As soon as you put the headset on, your grey, empty, dull existence turns colourful, bright and hopeful.
So you are assuming that everyone has a grey, dark and empty existence? Well, I'm pretty glad that it is not the case. And the second part is pretty much sounds like doing drugs, as so I would not want to do that.
As you plug yourself into the Appleverse, a place where you can meet new friends, work anywhere you want, do business, sell anything you want, go to different countries, catch up with your family instantly, travel across dimensions, do everything you've ever dreamed of. You no longer need to bend down, crank your neck over some small iPhone or laptop.
Oh, you are just going to touch squares and meet them in real life. Imagine that. Bam.
Now you can sit down at the family table, looking at your family straight in the eye.
Yeah, sure, as you can not see in the footage before. Man, choose your footage more wisely, bro.
But there was one strange thing that happened during the announcement of the Vision Pro that really stuck with me. You see, unlike any other Apple announcement, the Apple CEO Tim Cook never even used the Vision Pro. Whilst this is a small detail, it's something that has never been done before in Apple history. The CEO of Apple always uses the product as they announce it to the public. So why did Tim Cook never use the Vision Pro?
Because it looks stupid, mate.
With Zuckerberg implying that the Vision Pro is nothing more than exclusive product for a select few, far from a mainstream product. But after really digging deep into the Vision Pro and Apple's future plans, I stumbled upon new groundbreaking information that terrified me. And that's when I came to the conclusion that I do think that the Vision Pro is almost certainly going to be a mainstream product. And that's why I want to show you Apple's true plan to make the Vision Pro a mainstream product, and what the future of the Vision Pro will look like when it's mixed with AI and Neuralink, or even what this will look like in authoritarian regimes like China, where Apple already works actively with the CCP to censor and block anything the Chinese government doesn't like.
So there are a few things that you can take away from this, on the content, hardly anything, but on the rest, you've got a lot of visual cues, and he doesn't even take a breath, and he's jumping to conclusions, but let's see. Let's go around.
And even in the West, where Apple has been caught spying on all of our iPhone photos, what will this look like for the Vision Pro? Well, trust me, as I tried to answer these questions, things took a very dark turn, because when you pull the veil back on the Vision Pro, it's incredibly nasty. But to understand the full reasons why, we need to begin with a simple question. How on earth will Apple make the Vision Pro mainstream? And what is Zuckerberg wrong about? Why will the Vision Pro take over the metaverse? Well, for starters, it's already happening, as the Vision Pro has accomplished what Meta always failed to. You see, the metaverse failed to provide an immersive immersive, all-encompassing, addictive experience. We've all seen these images of this terrible Zuckerberg metaverse where the graphics are awful and there's nothing to do and no reason to even join it. And this is why the metaverse failed to attract investors and companies inside of its virtual reality, with the Wall Street Journal reporting that the metaverse's real estate prices decreased by 90%. In addition, companies like Disney discontinued any involvement with the metaverse after suggesting that the metaverse wasn't going to bring about the virtual reality dream of Silicon Valley. While the Vision Pro provides all the iOS apps that Apple's gigantic user base already loves, pushing the iPhone and MacBook experience into a seamless augmented lifelike reality. And this is in addition to high quality brand partnerships all moving away from the metaverse and instead joining the Vision Pro, with even Disney CEO Bob Iger saying, quote, "We believe that Apple Vision Pro is a revolutionary platform that can make our vision a reality." But more importantly, the Vision Pro offers technology that you just can't find anywhere else in the market. Since at least 2016 and possibly as early as 2015, Apple has been working on both the hardware and software in a dedicated division called the Technology Development Group, where Apple went on a hiring spree, recruiting VR and AR experts and acquiring all the relevant companies needed to fulfill their vision of an Apple virtual reality utopia, to the point that there were over 5,000 patents and extremely top secret technical knowledge that has been accumulated over almost 9 years, allowing Apple to create a device with a similar impact to the first iPhone.
And this has yet to happen. So let's not be too excited, because that's a bit uncertain. Because experts would say, let's not just jump to conclusions. It may be a total flop at the end of the day, and it's not unlikely it's going to be a total flop as of now. But the saucy thing that is just coming up. So stay tuned.
But still, even with a revolutionary product design, how on earth are people going to buy into Apple's virtual reality dream? It seems so ridiculous from afar, but when you go into the details, it doesn't seem too far away. Because in a very short amount of time, we're going to see Apple go about its usual cycle for new products. First, they're going to release pre-orders to gauge demand, manage their initial inventory, and give the Vision Pro a sense of exclusivity. And by the next few months, they'll have estimated how many people are willing to plug into the Apple Matrix. From there, Apple may very well opt for a limited market availability for the Vision Pro. However, this would only be for the initial release phase, as this enables Apple to control the supply chain and ensure a smooth rollout while also making their products seem exclusive and high quality, a product only a lucky few will have the privilege to plug into. But then this leads on to the crucial point, turning a $3,500 device into a mainstream product, and this is where things will start to take off. You see, in 2024, Apple is undoubtedly going to be releasing a bunch of marketing videos, making it feel as though the Vision Pro will make everything in your own life better, solving the loneliness, the depression, the isolation, the boredom, the depression of your normal life.
You know, you could have used any footage you wanted, but what did you use? Mr. Robot, out of reasons. But why? Mr. Robot is not representing a normal life. No, it is representing the life of someone with special conditions who has to deal with them. That's okay. That's doing a fine job, I suppose. It's like this good doctor thing that has become a meme of sorts. Nobody expects that to be the normal life. But that is something he is doing a lot of times, not only on this video, but in general. He is putting the lives of over 8 billion people and puts it into one category that just doesn't fit for them all. To be honest, it's infuriating. He is just doing injustice to reality. Virtual insanity here.
And then leveraging their strong brand presence, Apple will likely get your favorite celebrities and influencers to induce you into thinking it's actually better to be in the Vision Pro reality than your normal reality.
And what if I don't have a favorite celebrity? What then? Yeah, well, I didn't think of that.
Allowing this soft, high-quality new reality to emerge out of your depressing reality, where all your past problems gradually fades away. Because when you put on the Vision Pro headset, your real world dissolves. All the depression, pain, loneliness, and isolation that your current life has will slowly just dissolve.
Yeah, but what if there is nothing to dissolve, because there is no loneliness, no depression, no isolation? What then? Well, nothing, of course, because it's bullshit.
As you transcend your lonely dark flat.
Lonely dark flat? Okay, we are going to dissect this argument word by word. First, lonely. Not every flat is lonely. In fact, there are a lot of people who live in families in a flat, so they are not lonely. I hope at least. Second, not every flat is dark. I mean, you could just turn on the lights and it's not dark anymore. Woo! Third, there are a lot of people who just so happen to not live in a flat at all. So, once again, he's generalizing the entire world's population to live in lonely dark flats or leading a depressing life, perhaps a dead-end job. I have no idea, man. But this does not make sense in real life. It isn't doing justice in real life at all. So could you please stop it? No, he couldn't. This is just fitting his narrative once again.
As you transcend your lonely dark flat, as you enter the Vision Pro, you'll be shown various people, cultures and locations, exposed to the most pleasure that you can possibly imagine, combining the real world and digital world together.
You know, at this point, I feel like he's regurgitating the same arguments over and over with different flavors, variations, but he's always repeating the same thing, but he's just variating it in a way. It's getting tiring at some point, to be honest. It's not telling us anything at all. Just speculation or something, I have no idea.
One of the key features that Tim Cook repeatedly mentioned during the presentation for the Vision Pro, and because of this all-encompassing experience, this will lead to buzz across the world. People won't believe what they're seeing. It will feel, as many claim today, like magic. And so your average Joe will want to feel normal, to keep up to date, to fit in, to keep up with the Joneses, or to have the same advantages as your peers. You will feel an inherent need to tune into the Vision Pro.
Do you really? To look this ugly? Do you have the intention to look this ugly in front of others? I mean, you can do this in your room, I suppose, but if you meet friends or peers, you have no need to use a Vision Pro. If you want to show something, you have a tablet, a phone, a laptop, and so on, and so on, and so on. Why do you need a Vision Pro for that? Tell me.
As all your friends, community, religious groups, celebrities, businesses and shops all start to operate within it, just as we've seen with iPhones, MacBooks and social media.
So by this establishing the idea that everyone is living in lonely flats and stuff, the demand for that may be not so high, innit? So I'm not seeing how this is really absolutely going to happen. This is just speculation. Maybe it happens out of reasons, but not in the scale he is imagining, I suppose.
And once you experience the Vision Pro inside of an Apple shop, once you pop, you just won't stop. And this is what Silicon Valley is betting on. They want the edge of your curiosity. They want you to beg to see what your life will be like in the virtual world, how much better your life will be, how the person that you've always wanted to be, your destiny is just awaiting you in the Vision Pro. Apple will cater to all of your demands. And once all of this buzz, all of this virality for the Vision Pro takes off, they will then make the product substantially cheaper with a non-pro version of the product. But then even still, the most likely price of the non-pro version of Apple's Vision will still likely be around $2,000 at least. So why would anyone use this instead of a MacBook or iPhone, which offer everything you need at a massively discounted price? Well, as I mentioned, the Vision Pro has quite obviously had a bunch of development, and it has been meticulously crafted to deliver unparalleled augmented reality experiences. With a wide field of view and dedicated sensors, almost everyone admits that it excels in tracking and interacting with the real world. Unlike the MacBook or iPhone, the Vision Pro ensures that you have a more engaging, more addictive, interactive experience with the online world, blurring the boundaries between the digital and physical realms, all while being a hands-free experience. You don't need to be crouched down on a bus, you don't need to be anywhere. You can just be sitting in your bed or on the couch, and the Vision Pro allows you to effortlessly engage with virtual content.
I tell you what, there is a reason why you use a bus or a train or drive by car or go by foot. You want to go somewhere. Not every place you go could be substituted by this Vision Pro thing. So there is always a need to go somewhere. So there will be a need to be on a bus. You don't have to be crouched, you could have a different pose. Whatever you want. But you can't just substitute a bus ride. It's not possible, physically at least.
all whilst maintaining focus on your surroundings. You could literally be walking in the woods, all while being in a serious work call. And because of their spatial audio technology, all the movies, videos, and games that you play will have a more realistic and immersive environment.
Yeah, sure, but walking through the woods is only possible if you walk through the woods. Because if you do it on Apple Vision Pro, at least the simulation of it, it means you won't ever have the sensational experience. Like, you are not going to smell the woods, you're not going to feel them. You are only going to see them, which is not so satisfying in my opinion. So, what's your point, man?
The MacBook and iPhone just can't give you any sense of the spatial audio immersion, as this audio immersion takes you into a completely different world, making the overall experience more addicting than anything you could possibly imagine.
How about you going to the woods for real and for free and have the entire experience, not only audio and visual, but even feelings and, how do I say it, the taste of it, perhaps even. You know what I'm getting at. Yes, you have an audio visual experience. Nice, it's going to be nice. But where's the sensational experience? Where are you feeling it? Where are you smelling it? You don't. And that will always be like this. Unless you are going to really go full into the matrix. And that comes with an entirely different set of obstacles, I suppose.
Truly immersing you in a world that you've never seen before, all while providing more powerful processing capabilities than the iPhone or Mac can even dream of. And so there is one final question here. Why would people continually stay in the Vision Pro world? Well, once it's gone mainstream, once everyone starts adopting the Vision Pro and all the facsimiles of it, how do you get people to stay in this world? Well, the Vision Pro, without a doubt, will make you feel incredible, because after every Vision Pro game you play, after every Vision Pro friend you meet, after every live 3D interactive movie you watch, after all of your best memories play right in front of you, there will be a rush of dopamine saturating your brain.
And then there are still people who hardly use a phone, if at all, and there are people who still buy things using cash instead of a card. This still happens. So it is virtually impossible for everyone to be like that, especially in the poorer nations who could afford it over there. Seriously, this generalization is really a pain. A real pain it is.
You'll never want to leave. You can be what you want, when you want, and do what you want. And slowly you'll start to repeat the cycle every single day of the week. Just like all of your friends, neighbors, and family. You'll be able to jump into the Vision Pro universe, go to work in the Vision Pro universe, meet friends in the Vision Pro universe, play games in the Vision Pro universe, party in the Vision Pro universe, and even find love in the Vision Pro universe. And when this cycle happens, more and more people will plug into it out of the fear of missing out. Just like everyone's already jumped into social media and iPhones for fears of being left out of the tribe.
But not everyone is using an iPhone. Once again, we could have used the term smartphone. But no, he has to use iPhone. And social media, not everyone does social media, and they are still not being left out. They are still somehow relevant in the world, because there is a world beyond the internet. Imagine that. And to my experience, companies are really incentivizing to actually do physical meetings. Yes, it's crazy. Even after these corona times, companies still want that. Imagine that. Or at universities, they want people to attend to these lectures physically, despite all the digital means to do that. Wow! Yes, but he is just intentionally not mentioning that, because that would not fit his narrative.
Without access to a smartphone or computer, you're left out of the work environment, businesses, relationships, friendships, everything. And so to break away from this technology, whether it's the Vision Pro or the Meta Quest, will eventually become...
Here's the deal. Smartphones, computers and so on, they have firstly introduced digital life. So this was a huge step here. That's the reason why a lot of people adopted it, because that is a major development. Now, the Vision Pro is not the introduction of a digital life, but it is an enhancement. So it does mean that there are less incentives to go for that. So You're not going to be left out that easily, because not every company feels like investing into this, because they don't need it. If you work a 9 to 5 job at an office, why would you need this enhanced experience if you get the meetings for free, essentially? I don't get it, man. Why?
Become almost impossible. And this is where the real dangers begin. I mean, augmented reality by itself has a lot of massive problems, but that's not even considering how it's going to interact with AI and other advances. We've already seen how good AI is getting at creating flat images and artwork. Programs like OpenAI's DALL-E 2 can create intricate and realistic images in seconds. But there's no reason that these algorithms can't be applied to 3D objects, projected through augmented reality, with tools like the Vision Pro. And as these two technologies improve together, we'll see AI-created environments and objects generated and displayed entirely within augmented reality. Running from a few simple prompts, we'll be able to create entirely unique, constantly changing virtual worlds. Sufficiently advanced AI will even be able to create characters and people, giving them their own personalities and appearance, to the point that there's going to be AI people walking around your environment, and you most likely won't even know if it's real anymore. And augmented reality-based AIs will be able to react to your own movements and inputs, creating a truly interactive world that responds to subjects like nothing we've ever seen before. And later,
So that's cool, but do you know what about the AI at the stages? Of course, it just regurgitates old content. It doesn't do anything new. It just mixes it in a blender and makes something useful out of it. Like there is no creativity in there. People would like to do it themselves. They would like to be creative, create content, and make it a thing. It is always going to be relevant. Being creative is always a thing that people like to do. Taking that away would just, not work at all. There will be always someone to say, it is more worth to do something new, to do something creative, to do something with your own hands. And people would go for that.
down the line, neural implants will break the final barrier between the real and the virtual, with brain chips like Neuralink making this a very possible reality in the next decade, which means something like the Vision Pro will eventually respond and adapt to your thoughts and feelings in real time.
And now he's even doing this bridge to Neuralink. It is not really that developed, but yes, it could be developed. But would everyone want to use it? No, not everyone wants to use this intrusive technology. I mean, there are already the possibilities to implant yourself some NFC or RFID chips into your hand and use it to pay or to open doors. It's already there. People are doing this, but not a lot of people. And I suppose this Neuralink thing will not be that widespread as he believes. So, once again, generalization, speculation, it's just repeating over and over and over.
And all of this opens the doors to massive possibilities. On the one hand, we could create a paradise, a world perfectly designed based on your innermost thoughts and desires. However, the opposite is much more likely, because this lays out the path for the perfect authoritarian government to have more control than they've ever dreamed of. I mean, China has already shown that they're willing to exploit any new technology to subjugate their own people. Just look at their infamous social credit system that they're rolling out throughout China.
Well, that's cool, I suppose, but you have to link this all together. We have to force all of the people, over 8 billion people, in fact, to use that systems with all these things combined somehow. I don't know. And you would have to equip them with this intrusive technology, then make them wear this absolutely ridiculous headset, and then make sure that nobody is going to protest against it. Well, yeah, it's not that much likely because the social credit system is, how do I say it? They don't have to like wear it.
where they rank you based on your actions, tracking everything you do, using their hundreds of millions of facial recognition cameras. And using augmented reality, they could then insert propaganda directly into your perception. And of course, enemies of the state would become more grotesque and ugly. They would be outcasted, blocked from people. You won't be able to see them, whilst patriots will look more ideal than beautiful. They'll have a range of gifts, a range of opportunities in the virtual world. But more subtly, little information, tidbits and notifications in the corner of your eye would help government doctrine infiltrate every single part of life. Because for propaganda, it's not about the direct messages that you think about. Instead, it's about the unconscious normalization of party doctrine and thought. And don't just think this is going to happen in China and Russia. This will happen everywhere. I mean, as I've already mentioned, Apple has let the FBI have access to any iPhone they want in America.
Yeah, sure. Where do I start? This is about something, as you say, that it is happening in the entire world. That everywhere authoritarian regimes will happen. And you base it off of something that happens only in the United States. Do you see the problem in there? Not to start with that this thing that the FBI has access to all iPhones is only a fraction of the things that are happening in China and Russia. It's just ridiculous at this point. And only to make it fit into some weird narrative that I don't even get why he wants to have it fit to that. It doesn't make sense.
And in addition, Apple is very willing to work with authoritarian governments to censor anything that the government doesn't like, with iPhones everywhere already tracking every image in your photo albums.
No, it does not. It does only so if you connect your photo albums to iCloud. And you have to pay a fee to use it if you have a bunch of photos. So it is very likely that you just turn it off and just have your images on an external hard drive. And they don't scan every image locally. Heck, you could even turn off the location information on your images. And bam, they don't track anything at all anymore. So, if you really want to get rid of that, you can. There's nothing stopping you.
But trust me, it gets even crazier, because in the UK alone, secretive government agencies like the Counter-Disinformation Unit and the Nudge Unit have already infiltrated TV shows and changed the scripts for shows like Coronation Street, all to promote government messages, with the Counter-Disinformation Unit specifically working with big tech companies like Apple to curtail any discussion of lockdown policies. Let alone what else, and this is all according to the Telegraph. But what's even worse is that there's no pushback at all against this stuff, so why would any government or corporation like Apple stop there? I mean, this was shown with a survey conducted by the Cato Institute, who asked 18 to 29-year-olds whether they would support or oppose the government installing surveillance cameras in every household as a means to reduce domestic violence, abuse, and other illegal activities. In other words, 24/7 constant observation in your own house by the government, and the results were terrifying. Nearly 1 in 3 said this was a good idea.
Yeah, sure. 1 in 3, according to a survey, he has not linked because he hasn't given any sources in his description or something. The sources essentially trust me, bro. So I'm not going to take this seriously, to be honest. 2/3 have something against it, apparently, so that's good. So a government that is oppressive would have a hard time just introducing it without anything. You know? Because people are vigilant. They are just not going to be sheeple, like in the footage they are going to show next.
Yeah. Yes, almost 1 in 3 people want the government to watch everything that you do in your own home. And of course, it would be logistically impossible for humans to monitor every single person. But with something like the Vision Pro, in conjunction with artificial intelligence, and this provides the perfect tools for such actions. Certain movement patterns, behaviors, or keywords will trigger alerts, effectively keeping you always in check, using the triple threat of AI, augmented reality, and eventually neural implants like Neuralink.
Stop. Okay. He's just throwing in some funny arguments, but first you have to convince the other 2/3 of the people to being surveillance over 24/7. This isn't happening yet, so you have to do that first. And you have to connect all these technologies, you have to make them somewhat viable, affordable, and then something desirable for everyone that is just not going to happen. Sorry, it's not going to happen?
Because with augmented reality and AI, how you see the world around you will be decided by Apple. Just like social media, people will then be put into groups by the algorithm based on what they like in their personality. Then they'll be shown the same things as other people in that group. And whilst this is great for advertising and data harvesting, this is inadvertently going to deepen the divides between different groups of people as they start literally seeing the world in different ways. And as the world's political tensions rise, this will only work to further catalyze these tensions, letting the digital world infringe upon your perception of other issues. And then what happens if a malicious party spreads viruses that infect AR systems? People then could be deluded into seeing fake objects, misleading information, and even fake people in their day-to-day lives. Small changes to your perception of other people's faces can make someone more paranoid or depressed, for example.
Well, the simple solution is to just take off the headset and suddenly you will see everything normal. That's everything. Simple. So I don't, again...
only worsening the mental health epidemic we're already wallowing in. Because if everyone looks slightly disgusted or closed off around you, this will have an awful effect. Your self-esteem will be diminished, and then this will make you more lonely, more isolated. All the things that you're trying to escape with the Vision Pro will only make these things worse. And this is probably one of the most likely results of augmented reality. Reports on loneliness compare its health effects to smoking 15 cigarettes every day, and young people in particular spend less and less time around their friends as they become more and more absorbed on the online world. And of course, augmented reality and AI will step in to provide a solution. That's the selling point of the Vision Pro, giving people new fake virtual friends. They'll temporarily help, but they'll never really fill the hole that real human interaction can. But it's only when you take off the headset and look around you do you realize you're a lab rat. And this is when everything becomes worse. As the dawning realization hits you, you haven't achieved anything, you're alone, you're empty inside, you haven't made any progress towards your goals. You were just tricked into thinking that you did. You were tricked into thinking that these virtual people were your friends. And so the temporary help of the Vision Pro becomes the solution to your worsening living situation. And as the loneliness in your real life grows with your addiction to the Vision Pro, there'll be nowhere else to go but the Vision Pro. And all of this is in the interest of the companies behind augmented reality. Because as our loneliness epidemic worsens, more and more people will be driven towards alternative solutions like augmented reality. And because these only work for a time, you'll be addicted to them through the same neurological mechanisms that make us crave real social contact. It's a negative loop, but a source of never-ending profits for them. And that's why eventually there will be gamified microtransactions all over the Vision Pro. One day our actual clothes and appearance will be replaced by AR avatars. Companies could sell customization options, which don't really cost them anything, through loot boxes and other predatory tactics. Instead of going to the shop to try on clothes, you try it in the Vision Pro. Augmented simulated relationships will become even more popular in this lonely future. AI girlfriends, even in their severely limited state right now, are already taking off. One of the most popular intimate AI companion apps, Replica, has amassed over 7 million users as of 2022. Aided by virtual avatars and realistic personalities, real people are getting attached to these things because they are so deeply lonely. And just imagine what this will look like in the Vision Pro when it's actually in your reality. And if it's not clear already, this is a goldmine for tech companies. This is why everyone in Silicon Valley is pushing it. And once the Vision Pro may be laughable in a lot of ways, it is a calculated risk. And the sooner they push this technology into the mainstream, the sooner they can unlock these limitless profits.
So we have been once again entering this roller coaster with absolutely too much speculation, to be honest. Too much speculation, generalization. I have no idea anymore. It is 6:30 a.m. I should have slept all the time, but I didn't. Well, that sucks. But what I can tell you is, do not watch too many of these videos, from Moon at least. Maybe if you don't like my videos, no problem, it's just an attempt. It is something I have come up with at 3 a.m. in the morning. Don't expect anything good from this. But at the end of the day, here's the deal. Don't get yourself down by those videos. Just be more careful about your reality. Because it is unlikely to happen, but it is not entirely impossible that this entire scenario created by him would somehow come true. I find it very unlikely. Because he is assuming that this thing is guaranteed to take off the way he believes. And I have already shown how his reasoning is quite flawed. Like I said, he is generalizing, like a lot of people, like the entire world is going to get off for that, even if they don't can't afford it, that all companies want that. There are so many variables, so it makes it very unlikely. But the point you should take away from this, at least that is my recommendation for now, just try to find your way to get more happiness, to maximize your happiness without twisting of new technology, without this entire virtual insanity. Just take care of yourself, just be more alert to yourself. And sometimes you should question those feelings of being lonely and not getting any love and so on. Just my experience is that when I get negative thoughts, for example, that somehow I'm useless and so on, my technique is to mentally draw the picture of pinning these thoughts down, looking them straight into their eyes, and to tell them, to ask them, what is their purpose? What is your purpose? How are you going to benefit me? If, let's say, a thought enters into my mind, you are useless, you can't do anything right, you shouldn't exist, then I'm going to do this and I'm going to tell you so. Firstly, why? Maybe he's going to give that thought is going to have some reason to it, but then there is that one thought, the one question: how are you going to benefit me? Because that thought, because then the thought mostly has no reasoning, because you always have an use. You're always going to serve a purpose. Everything is serving a purpose. There is always a reason behind everything. There is a reason why you exist. There is a reason why you will exist. And there is a reason why everyone else also exists. And maybe someone is not so nice at you, is telling you things, but you should always somehow try to find the confidence into yourself and say, okay, that guy thinks the way he thinks, but it doesn't stop me from thinking the way I think about myself. And yes, sometimes it is not bad to have these thoughts to tell you that you should improve yourself. You should find ways to waste less time, find more productivity in yourself, whatever. You can do it. And that's the main thing at the end of the day, because not everyone who thinks he is depressed is actually depressed. It's mostly just some temporal states, and it comes and it goes, and it is nothing to stay. Unless it is, but it is not as much happening as you think. But if you are depressed, just my advice, get some help. You need the help, and you deserve the help. And regardless of whether you are depressed or not, you always deserve love. You always deserve to be treated with kindness. And you always deserve to have happiness without this entire twisting of new technology, without this virtual insanity. So now my voice is leaving me anyway, so I should say that's that. Ciao.